Yo, what's up, y'all? We out here, and I want to talk about a story that involves Palau. We out here repping, and it's actually related to last night and a couple different events that happened last night. So, to give you a little bit of background, as you well know by this point, I spent 5 years of my time in Palau as a missionary, and before that, I actually spent maybe 3 years full time, 7, 8 summers of canvassing, and both of these classify as mission work. And I would say maybe in canvassing more so than the mission field, it's very rare to see any kind of fruit of your labor. It's a very thankless work. Shout out to Sam Francis, who's still doing it after all these years, and you can ask him his thoughts. The next drop off the podcast, check him out there. But it's something where you really put in the work because you love God and you believe that the mission is accomplishing something and it's for a good reason, a good purpose, even though you don't see the result. Um, as I said, going door to door with people that you literally may only see one time in your life, but really giving your best effort to try to leave them with something that's going to be positive for their experience, and just praying and hoping for the best. Missions, it's a little bit different. I think if you're only there for a year, you probably feel similar to how it is in canvassing, where you might engage with a student here or there. You might have a homeroom of students that you work with more closely for an entire year. But still, you're focused on teaching, and while Bible may be one of the classes that you're teaching, you're not necessarily trying to get all your students into Bible studies and trying to get them baptized. It's not like the overt purpose of you being there. You're there to build relationships and to teach. And I think that the love of God comes as a byproduct of the way that you do that, if done well and if done right. Now, if you happen to stay for a number of years like I did, you may get to be an active participant in the growth of people over a longer period of time. And so maybe your chances of seeing the big decisions and the growth for people in their experiences, it goes up a little bit. And I would say that's true because not only was I able to spend time with a group of freshmen to seniors as I worked in the high school for my last 4 years there, but I had the privilege of baptizing a couple of them and a couple of the juniors as well my last year there. So I don't know what that is, but anyways, you know, being able to see that and experience that it's amazing. Now, let's take it a step further. For missionaries who choose to go and serve halfway around the world and then return back home, it's even it ties back into that canvassing experience of people that you really only felt that you might have seen one time for your entire life, and you're not sure if you get to see them again. Now, for myself and for other missionaries, we've been very privileged and blessed to return to the places where we served, to visit and to catch up with the people and the students and the friends and family that we built relationships with while there. But it's not everyone who gets to experience that. Now, being here at Andrews after being out there, it's interesting because obviously not only am I back halfway around the world, but I'm in a place that climate-wise is the exact opposite of Palau. You have the heat, the warmth, the nice, the sun, the humidity, the sweat, and then you have the ice, the snow, the cold, the frost, the freezing, negative how many degrees, and just like it doesn't matter what you're wearing, the wind it feels like it's on your skin whenever you go outside. Little little did I know that I would ever have the privilege of attending this university with students that I taught in Palau. And two of them actually came as freshmen here a couple years ago, Belena and Yanaya. And it was really cool engaging with them here and having a piece of what I felt like was my home here at Andrews now. And unfortunately, Yanaya ended up leaving after I think a year, and she went to Alaska. She's doing her thing up there with some family, which again, from Palau to Andrews, which is cold, to Alaska, which is even colder. It blows my mind a little bit, but it's another story. I might have to get up there sometime and check it out. But getting into Belena, she's been here now for 3 years, and has continued through in her experience. You're good, bro.
Oh, sorry, man. So sorry.
You're good. You're
It's a
good.
pretty sick setup you got down there.
Working on it, man.
Just getting some laundry done.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Oh man. But Belena's been here now for 3 years, and what's cool about her experience is being so far away from home. She stuck with it, and I remember her telling me, it must have been a year or so ago now, that she wasn't going to go home until she was done. That was just a mark that she wanted to set for herself, and I think part of it was related to she had seen some people who had left to try to go and do some things, and they come back and it's harder to leave. In addition to it being expensive as well. So she had a number of reasons why she wasn't necessarily trying to go back. But I was really impressed by that, and her resilience in deciding to stay here, which was cool. But what that also results in is me being able to actually see the growth and development and be an even more or a further participant in her experience and in her journey. And last night, to keep the story short, she'd been working up to this for a while and had been studying with a couple of friends of mine, Isai and Cindy. And she ultimately decided that she wanted to be baptized and give her life to Jesus, which is amazing. I remember teaching her as a freshman, as a sophomore, back out in Palau. And like I said last night, I never thought that we would be students here together at the same university, much less be able to see. It's almost like a full circle moment where you get to see her take that leap and say, you know what, this is something that she appreciates so much that she wants to dive into this like all the way. And it's hard for me to wrap my mind around the significance of this, right? Because the majority of the students that we serve in Palau at SDA school and at the high school, though they're both Adventist schools, the majority of the students are not Adventist. I think before, when we had a lot of the students from China and Korea there, the percentages were down to 10% or less that were actually Adventist. It may have gone up a little bit without as many international students there now, but it's still very low, you know? So when you have students choosing the schools that they can go to, and Belena will tell you, Andrews was not her first choice. She had other places that she wanted to go, but she felt compelled to come here. And there's a long line of missionaries who attended Andrews that went to Palau, and each and every one of them gave her something to connect to as a reason why she wanted to come here. And for her to stick it out and ultimately to get to this point, I feel so privileged, because out of all of the missionaries that touched her life there in Palau, I'm one of the few that actually got to witness this moment. And so I was smiling, man. I almost felt like I might break out in a few tears. I didn't, held it back. But man, it was amazing. It was amazing to be there and to witness that. And I was in the tank with her, Prescott, who was doing the baptizing, Isai and Cindy, who were there as well. And it was so cool. Isai had been a missionary also. And we've been cool for the past few years. And I forgot to mention, the three of us actually worked together in residence life when I was a dean still. I was one of the deans, Isai is a student dean, and Belena is one of our RAs. So being a little part of her journey throughout all these years, and to see it get to this point, and to see the excitement and the joy that she has about the decision that she's making and taking the ownership of that, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And it was kind of funny because this event actually happened on the same night as the outgoing SM student missionary dedication. While we were having Vespers in the main sanctuary with the baptism, and one of my friends, Kayla, was speaking, the student missionary dedication was happening in the youth chapel off to the side. So I told Belena, hey, I got to go real quick because they're sending outgoing missionaries. And if anybody understood that, it's Belena. So I run over there. I have a few of my friends who are on the gymnastics team this year who will be going out to serve next year. And one of them will be in Palau. I think the others will be in Majuro and, oh man, what was the other one? Kosrai. So it's really cool to you see the thing go. And that's the reason I kind of say full circle, not only because of Belena's experience, but being there from seeing not the result of the work there, but seeing but being able to witness an event that had a little something to do with the mission field, and then going out to support the next group of outgoing missionaries. It's like it just keeps going and it just keeps going. And I know people have a lot of misconceptions about what missions is and the whole colonialism nonsense. Uh, I call it nonsense. There's good reason that people have classically uh, to kind of be wary when it comes to missions. But I can tell you that we're doing our best as young people going out here to serve, to just be the best that we can at loving people and hoping that some essence of Christ rubs off on the people as we engage with them. Uh, Ernest Hernandez from NAD was there last night, and he shared an example. He had a little talk for the outgoing SMs, and he had us tossing around these balloons. And you know how it is when you hit around a balloon, it bounces around, it goes to somebody else, and so on and so forth. And his illustration was like, we're the balloons. And the balloons touch one and they go somewhere else, and they go back and forth. They go back and forth. And he had an illustration of us being a balloon and someone else being a balloon, and they bounce off each other. They have an interaction, they bounce off each other. And you can impact and change the direction of somebody's experience by that little bit of contact. It doesn't take much, but you can significantly alter someone's path for good and unfortunately for bad as well by who you are as a person, and especially much more so when you go out to be a missionary. And the cool thing about that is you're able to bounce off the other person, and you come back and you bounce off of God again, and it's like this cycle where you keep bouncing off of God and you bounce off other people and you rub off God on some of them, and it's like it's this really cool cycle that you get to take part in, that happens because you're staying in motion, because you are going, you're able to impact other people, and because you're going with God, you're bumping up against God and taking more of God in with you as you go. So a really cool concept. And again, it was a lot of really cool experiences to have within the same night. I actually didn't even know that both of these things were happening on the same night until last night, probably an hour before the event. But man, really cool, an honor and a privilege to be there to support Belena and represent Palau. And again, an honor and a privilege to be present for the new SMs who are going to be going out, representing the school, representing their families, representing God, to go and just be a good person out here in the world. We need it. We need more of it. And I know that they're going to be blessed as a result. They're going to be able to share a blessing as a result of their effort and their decision to go serve. And I hope that many more people will be willing to embrace that also. There's several other things I need to talk about from different conversations and experiences from last night, but that's all I got for this video. So if you made it to this point, thanks for watching. And it's the Buff Missionary. We're still out here in these streets. We're still out there in those streets, and we will continue to be. And I'll catch you in the next one, all right? Peace.